Not sure why this is pausing. How are you doing, Carol?
I'm doing really well.
And
Look what I printed. Guess what I printed off today?
oh, what did you
My
print out?
my AO report.
Your what report?
AO.
Oh, you did print. Oh, I wonder what the total number of pages, because I know one of them's 28 pages, and then there's a 7-page, and I'm not sure how many pages the others are. It's
That's how many. And unless a person has a very inexpensive place to have them printed, I did UPS. Go black and white because
oh, yes.
I started with color on the first part, and then I talked to the guy, and we decided, no, I know what it is because you showed me, and we know
Yeah.
how to read it. Black and white's fine.
Yeah, black and white is sufficient. And I could always send you the recording, so that you can review it, so that you've got the paper copy there, and then you can also see, the color version in the video.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Well, anything that you send is wonderful.
Thank you very much. Well, this is exciting. So I'm going to share real quickly at the beginning of this broadcast. We might have a few people. I've got some people in Europe that are trying to get on. We'll see if they can make it on. But I wanted to share, because we talk about the traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points, as you know, about, the patches. And so I just kind of briefly want to go over this at the beginning. You know that this is an organic nanotechnology that uses photobiomodulation, which is wearable light technology, applying them on traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points. So this particular chart, and I can email this to you, Carol, but this,
I'd love it.
yeah, this particular chart gives you by patch name. So for example, and we're going to get into this info Q&A after we preface it with this, and this is showing you the patch positions. And so for the mother stem cell activation patch, which is X39, the two spots that were recommended for all of the patches and all of the studies was the neck bump. You touch the back of your neck, the base of your spine, that first bump, that's governing vessel 14, or below the button, as pictured here, governing vessel 14 and CV6. So energy enhancer, you've got this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different positions. Then you have Eon, you've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions for glutathione 5, for carnosine 5, for ice wave. There's actually an infinite number of positions for all of the patches. These are just some of the most popular suggestions. You have silent nights for people who have insomnia. Ice wave, of course, is the pain receptor gets turned off. It's more powerful than hospital grade morphine. Nirvana, which is right now temporarily not available, so we're not going to talk about that. SP6 has to do with digestion, reproductive organs, and regrowth of nerves, and regulating your autonomic nervous system. So this has 3 recommended locations. Alavita, to activate your pineal gland, to increase your melatonin, to increase organ function, helps set their circadian rhythms. Melatonin is that master antioxidant detoxifier of all heavy metals. And then we've got X49 over here. But again, this is just a beginning point. So you're aware when we started you on the patches because you had AFib and because you had, and we're not making any medical claims. We're just based on what's presenting. We apply the patches to affect a more immediate change. And in your particular case, we're happy to report that within less than 30 days, and in fact, within the first few days, your pulse came back, to normal. And then it was confirmed in the 3rd week with your doctor and your cardiologist. And then again, any eye issues, in your case, you've got the thing going on with still recovering from the shingles, very, painful eye situation, and that's getting better and better. So this is like a general rule of thumb that everybody can use. So I'll send that to you. You could share that with your friends and family who are on the patches as well. And this is available for everyone in the Telegram group. For people who are on the Telegram group, this is readily available on there. We have it posted so that you can find it very easily. And for those of you who aren't on Telegram, then we can, of course, send it to you via email. Let me share my next screen over here. Well, I'm going to show this one real briefly, if it's going to work. Yeah, that's working. And now let's go on to the next spot as well. I don't know why this is even open over here. I have something that opened up that I don't. Not sure why that's doing that. So let's see if I can get this to work properly. Try this one more time again. Okay, hopefully it'll work this time. Yep. And there we go. Okay. So let's talk about these photobiomodulation patches and about cell activation. And so we're going to jump into the Fantastic Five. And we're going to talk about, of course, the mother X49, the mother stem cell activation patch. So the first two patches are the mother and the daughter. So we're going to start off with X39 followed by X49, and then we'll go into the balance of the five. And we'll do our little disclaimer here. The patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease, nor do we heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. That would be your doctor. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor and concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. So no medical claims are being made with the suggestions here. This is intended for human use only. All right. So in the fall, we had a little thing was called to our attention. The FDA usually checks our facilities every 2 years. In the fall, they decided to make this announcement to us, and they said, and I'll just read verbatim what the notice says. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has taken the position that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, and even those from natural products, will be regarded as drug claims. Imagine that. So the FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides, such as GHKCU, is inappropriate for a general wellness product. So even though, as a result of this notification that we got just a few months ago, as a result, we can't say that any longer. We can no longer say that these FDA class 1 medical devices actually activate your stem cells. Instead, we have to refer to them as master cells, pluripotent cells, smart cells. Although we have 90 clinical studies that were done in the United States, Europe, as well as Asia, that all show a significant result in every single one of those studies. Not to mention that we have 120 global patents that are approved in over 82 countries that show that the patent actually does what it claims to do. So we want to play nice. And my understanding is that the first of the year, this is no longer an issue again, but I'm not so sure that all the agents that are out there that work for this 3-letter entity are in full notice, plus whatever programming of bots that scour the internet. So better safe than sorry until we know without any hesitation and until I hear otherwise from corporate. So in 73, this is all possible. We can activate stem cells because of the incredible groundbreaking research of Dr. Lauren Picard, who discovered that GHKCU copper peptide activated a third, 33% of previously dormant stem cells, turning your genes to a younger, healthier state. Imagine that. So not to confuse GHKCU copper peptide with copper, because you have a certain sector of the population that's allergic to copper. This is not going to harm you because you have an allergy to copper. These are GHKCU copper peptide. Everybody has GHKCU copper peptide, as well as AHKCU copper peptide inside of your body. So this is simply activating a third of your previously dormant stem cells by basically triggering these to turn them on. And so he should have won a Nobel Prize for this discovery. However, this is what's making this technology possible. So the exciting thing to note is, what are stem cells? Because many people go, well, stem cells, master cells, pluripotent cells. What is all of this? So stem cells are pluripotent cells. That's a descriptor of the type of cell they are. Pluripotent just means plural, potent, potential. So if you put that together, it just means that a stem cell has many potentials. It has 100% of the programming necessary from conception until you take your last breath. So as you see here in this picture, in this image, it can turn into a heart cell, cardiac cell, enterocyte, which would be a stomach or digestive lining cell, fat cell, red blood cell, bone cell, epithelial cell, which would be for your skin and your tissue, nerve cells, et cetera, et cetera. It has 100% of the master blueprint. So basically, you're taking your original playbook from when you were conceived and opening it back up, and you're setting the reset button, not from when you were born, but it's from conception moving forward. Because we all know a lot of things can happen during that time that you're inside your mother's womb forming. If your mother in the 6th month of pregnancy all of a sudden is in a cloud of toxic and nauseous fumes, that's going to affect her. It can intoxicate her, and it can also intoxicate the baby, and it could disrupt whatever the development of the baby is, so that it will alter the genetic expression of the baby instead of it being what was originally programmed. Okay, so let's move on to conception, since we're talking about conception, right? When your mother's ovum came in contact with your father's sperm, this is true for all mammals. At conception, you now have complete information to the tune of 23,688 genes and stem cells that are going to form you in your mother's womb. And as those continue to multiply and start to create you into an embryo, it's going to continue on until it creates you and forms you into a fetus. Then at 36 to 40 weeks, you're a newborn baby. And then fast forward to 30 years of age, and 50% of your stem cells turn off. Not because your stem cells are damaged, not because they're destroyed, not because they disappear. It's because they go dormant. They just go to sleep. They go bye-bye. They don't disappear. They're just dormant, lying in wait until you apply this beautiful, miraculous technology that we now have available. These two became available just in the last 4 years. This became available in 2019, and the daughter activation patch is just barely 2 years old that we've had this available. Quite exciting if you think about it. We live at the perfect time and age, if you ask me. And so your body is just like a home. It's a temporary housing unit for the energy, the soul, the personality that is you, that's watching this video, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube or Instagram or whatever platform, or Zoom. So I want you to notice that stem cells are like ink printer cartridges. So like if you look at your printer where you make your copies, you have ink cartridges inside of the printer. And when you have 100% of the ink, just like having 100% of your stem cells after conception, guess what? The copy is indistinguishable from the original. Just like the copy of cells that are replacing whatever damaged cells, when you have 100% of your stem cells, you can't tell them apart. And that's why a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old will get a cut or break a bone, and in record time, they're healed. Many times, without even scarring. You don't see a 10-year-old with gray hair and with wrinkles and with arthritis. No, that is something that doesn't come until much later, if at all, in life. Some people have a greater propensity, all sorts of different factors that play into that, many of them being environmental. Environmental is not limited to just what's outside, but we oftentimes, in fact, most of the time, unless you primarily eat man-made foods, everything is consuming the environment. Because when you pick an orange, you take lettuce, you take an ear of corn, you take cherries, you're eating your environment in essence. Because like Dr. Jack Kruse likes to say, food is a light barcode with information. It has nutrients and it has information for your body for you to process as you ingest it and break it down into little packets of light called electrons and electrolytes, which segues perfectly to the next slide about how do the patches work? So glad you asked. Ask and you shall receive. So how do the patches work? Well, if you touch your face, if you touch your neck, you will feel that you're warm. That is evidence of, if you were to take your thermometer and take your temperature, you're about 98.6, 98.7 degrees Fahrenheit, right? That is evidence of the light that is inside your body, not metaphorically, not just mystically and spiritually speaking, but we now know scientifically that that in fact is the case. We are light bodies. We are pure light inside of our body. We are infrared light, as evidenced by this spectrograph right here. I have a machine called a BioWell machine that I can scan your hand and it will measure the joules of energy that you have inside of your body. That energy that you have inside of your body is because of the electrons and electrolytes. Electrons are inside the cells, and electrons are also inside every molecule inside of your body. Electrons are simply a packet of electricity. Electricity is light. It's infrared light. In your bloodstream, you have electrolytes. Those electrolytes are, again, packets of electricity, packets of light that are going through your bloodstream along with oxygen and nutrients and information to inform and to nutrify the body head to toe, top to bottom, front to back, left to right. So if you look at how these patches actually work, this is a fascinating study and read, if you will. You want to take notice. You'll notice that I'm wearing right here a patch. You can see it here right on my chest. And if you look at the patch, you'll see that there's a white dot. And that is a lattice work of crystals. And if you look at diamond crystals, yeah,
Okay, I gotta turn this light up.
if you look at these diamond crystals and you were to take a light and flash it onto a diamond crystal, naturally you see right here in this video that the light is reflecting back to your eyes. The source of light is the flashlight, for example. And then your eyes are receiving that reflection back so that you witness all the different colors of the rainbow. Well, the same thing is true with these cell activation patches. That crystal lattice there, it's organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. And they're arranged in a very specific lattice work, and they're set to a specific frequency to give the results of activating the mother stem cell activation patch, and later on the daughter activation patch when you wear this patch. So let's talk about phototherapy. And while phototherapy has been defined as the use of ultraviolet light for its healing effects, the LifeWave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patches have been placed. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, tiny little particles, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. So this then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. Variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. In fact, research shows that for thousands of years, the Egyptians have used phototherapy. There's so many different Incan and Mayan civilizations that also used the sun, phototherapy, as photobiomodulation to affect certain changes within the body. So in that time, there has been little evidence of negative side effects, and this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. So I want to talk about the first documented use of photobiomodulation, because again, we have history talks about so much use of photobiomodulation in the past, but the first time it was actually scientifically documented was in 1895. And in 1903, just 8 years later, Niels Ryberg Finsen won the Nobel Prize for his research on using red light to treat tuberculosis of the skin. In his experiments with mice, Finsen found that exposing them to red light reduced both their symptoms and mortality rate from lupus vulgaris. Now, I want you to keep in mind that if you think about the sun, because we are Bluetooth to the sun, just as we're Bluetooth to the circadian rhythms of the earth, and the sun is 42% infrared light. The type of light that we have inside of our bodies is actually infrared light. It's not a coincidence. That is by divine design. And I want you to think about the fact that we're talking about activating your own infrared light that's inside of your body through this mechanical, this is simply a mechanical device. It's your body that's doing all the work. You're the battery. You're the electricity. You are the light source. You are the energy source that activates this device. This is just a mechanical device to redirect your infrared light back into your body. Because if I were to wear night vision goggles and I were to look at you through night vision goggles, like the military, as well as the authorities, you know, the police department, they use infrared light goggles to see you, and they see you glowing in the dark. In fact, little known truth, I just recently read a study where it talked about how snakes, they don't see people like you and I, like the way we see, where we see all the nitty-gritty details of the person. No, they only have infrared light receptors in their eyeballs and their optics. And so they see just your infrared light of your body. And that's how they know that there's a predator in their presence. So whether it's a human being, whether it's a lion, a bear, a panther, a cheetah, a cougar, whatever kind of animal, whatever mammal, they see just the infrared light. Pretty fascinating if you think about it. So I want you to notice that this little mechanical device is non-transdermal. What's non-transdermal? Non doesn't transfer, is what trans means, dermal, dermis, into the skin. So nothing transfers into the skin. Non-invasive, nothing is invading your skin. This little patch, those crystals that are, even though it's organic sugar, organic salt, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids, those are not absorbed by your skin, not at all. They're simply a mechanical device set to a specific lattice work, a specific geometric pattern, set to a specific frequency to affect turning on a third of your previously dormant mother cell activation patches. These are organic, holistic, FDA compliant Class 1 medical devices under the big umbrella of general wellness category. They fall under the general wellness category of Band-Aids, ACE bandages, crutches, walkers, arm slings, etc. So we manufacture our products at FDA registered facilities in the US, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. So we manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device. And in fact, the facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485. And that's a quality standard per our inventor, scientist, Tesla-esque genius, in my opinion, David Schmidt. Now, it's important that everybody, whether you do the patches or not, whether you decide to activate your mother stem cell, your mother smart cells on or not, no matter what you do, just for general wellness and being. Every Olympic athlete knows this. Any athlete that's into peak performance knows this. All the Navy SEALs know this. The military knows this, because all of their men know that one of the primary things is, like, you can live without food for 40 days, but you can't live without water. And our bodies are primarily made up of water. Baby is about 82% water. It went from a amniotic sac in its mother's womb where it was swimming in water, and it comes out pretty juicy at 82% water. Think about that. 82% water means that only 18% is other substances other than water. Pretty remarkable if you think about that. Fast forward from birth all the way to 60 years of age, and at 60, you're only about 55% water. Used to be that the average American that was 60 years old was 65% water, but it's now 55% water. So it's very important that you keep hydrated. If you weigh 100 pounds, that's 50 ounces of water. 150 pounds, that would be 75 ounces of water. If you're 200 pounds, it's 200 pounds would be 100 ounces of water. Okay. If you don't think this is a big deal, oh me, oh my. Let me tell you, it is monumental. You don't have to do anything you don't want to. Again, if you don't care about your health and well-being, then ignore this. You can take, just log out of this presentation and go watch something else. But if you are interested in your health and your well-being, it is monumental to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Why? Because first thing, probably didn't know this, but your DNA is 92% water. That's right. Even when you're 60 years old and you're primarily 55% water, even when you're well hydrated, maybe you'll get to 60% water. Guess what? Your DNA is still 92% water. That's the primary structure holding up all of your DNA. I want you to think about that. Kind of gives you the indicator of how important it is to be properly hydrated. The other thing is your brain is hydrophilic. Your brain loves water. In fact, your brain is about 75% water. 75% water and fat, and it runs on glucose and proteins. Very important. The other thing to note is that when you're a little dehydrated, when you feel that you have 2%, when you're feeling parched and you feel thirst in your mouth and your tongue, you're 2% dehydrated. At 8% dehydrated, oh no, wait till you find out what happens at 8%. This, my friends and gems, is a DNA strand that's properly hydrated. So look, it's a beautiful helix, perfect structure, everything is in order. When you reach 8% dehydration, your DNA starts to unravel. Oh my, do you think that's bad? Yeah, that's pretty horrific, because if your DNA is starting to unravel, that is the code that's telling your body to express this and to not express that. When it starts to unravel, and at the end of your DNA, you have these telomeres. The longer your telomeres, the longer the longevity you're going to have. As those telomeres, the sheath that's around the ends, like little socks at the end of telomeres, that starts to come, fall apart, then pieces of your telomeres start to break off, and the DNA literally starts to unravel. That is the beginning of all sorts of symptoms and all sorts of disease, illnesses, and all sorts of maladies inside of your body. Not good at all. 10% dehydration, you start to lose your mind. Your brain simply cannot function. The molasses is too thick to move around in your brain, let alone the rest of your body. So you literally lose your mind. And at 12% dehydration, hard shutdown. It's like cement in there. Nothing can move, nothing can groove, nothing can signal. Hard shutdown, you're dead. The other thing to note is water is we all know you never want to touch an electrical outlet with your hands wet, because water is a very powerful conductor of electricity, right? So did you know that your DNA is an energy amplifier? Well, now that you know that DNA is 92% water, doesn't it make total sense that it's an energy amplifier? Because that's the primary structure that holds up your DNA is the water. So the patches are to be worn 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Then you discard them or set them aside. Because just as the earth and the sun are set to 12 hours from sunrise to sunset, and then from sunset to sunrise, you have another 12 hours. And our bodies are Bluetooth, and we are set to the circadian rhythms of the earth. So we have a 12-hour, 24-hour cycle every day. And so you want to put your patches on first thing in the morning, let's say 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then at 9 p.m., your alarm will effectively go off. And as your alarm goes off at 9 p.m., oh, time to remove my patches. If you don't set an alarm, you're going to forget to remove them, because it happens to all of us. In fact, it happened to me this last weekend. I was out Saturday night, and I kept on hitting snooze an hour later, and I forgot to, the next time my alarm went off again, I was still out and about. I didn't hit the snooze again, and I woke up the next morning with the badges. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to skip. So if you signal your body for 24 hours, now you have to match that with 24 hours of rest, repair, and restore. Okay. So on the bottom right here, we do have a picture that shows the kissing patches, which is just, if you make believe that my fingers are the adhesive and the palm of my hands are the white crystal lattice with the crystals, you can overlap the adhesive, but not the actual crystals, because you want the entire signaling, whatever that pattern and that frequency is, you want that to make total contact with the skin. Okay, so now let's talk about, we have Dr. Harmon. So Dr. Harmon came to us a few years back because he had two things that plagued him. He had funny feelings in his chest and a lot of PVCs and heart fluctuations. He happens to be a brain specialist who does QEEGs. He does brain scans in his clinic. And he had a lot of irregularities with his heart. And he had 3 cardiologists who verified he had a right bundle branch blockage. No bueno, not good at all. Not what you want to hear. And all 3 of them said, sorry, it's inoperable. There's really nothing we can do to make it better. You're going to have to be on heart meds for the rest of your life. And oh, bad, too sad, but your longevity is compromised because you got a bad pump. And to boot, he also is an avid hiker, and he was having a great deal of knee pain. And his doctor told him, gee whiz, I don't know how you're walking on that polished knob. You have no cartilage whatsoever, and you're going to need knee surgery. So when he started to go on a quest to figure out how, there has to be something out there that can fix me, that's when the patches came into his experience. And lo and behold, he got started. And in the first 90 days, his knee was much better. And so he knew he wasn't going to need knee surgery. Fast forward to 14 months. And at the 14-month mark, lo and behold, all 3 cardiologists were really quite taken aback. They said, I've never seen this happen before, but your right bundle branch blockage has disappeared. It's nowhere on the scan. And so his right bundle branch blockage disappeared because it was repaired, restored, and regenerated from the activation of his cells, replacing damaged cells with new cells. I need to get a quick thing of water because all of a sudden I got really dry. Give me a quick moment. Speaking of water, this is my water bottle. I drink 2 of these a day. And so I always advise that everybody measure out every night before you go to sleep, whether it's a pitcher or you have a couple of hydro flasks or glass water bottles. You measure out your water to make sure that you drink your allotment of water per day. Okay, so the other thing about Dr. Harmon to note is that he started off as a gray-haired man with more than just fine lines and wrinkles. I could have played tic-tac-toe on his forehead. He had a 111 between his brows. As far as wrinkles are concerned, and he also had lines across the other way, had a lot of inflammation, thinning eyebrows, had just a little speck of brown on both of these brows. You can clearly see that all of this cleared up. Last time I saw him was in October. I should pull up some of our pictures together so that you can see. I actually did an interview because he wrote a book on GHKCU, which is amazing, about reverse aging. Well, we'll have to share that very soon. Oh, by the way, the other thing to remember is that your fibroblasts, those begin to decline when you're just barely 25 years of age in their production of collagen. I don't know about you, but I think 25 and your fibroblasts are already starting to decline. Collagen is the number 1 building block protein of the body. No wonder by the time you're 30, you have 50% of your original stem cells that start to turn off. Really remarkable. Here we have Barry, and Barry is a Canadian, and he's a dear friend of mine. And Barry is so happy and joyful. In fact, I have another update from him because he's feeling fantastic on these patches. But when he first came to me, he had been suffering with long haulers COVID for 18 months. He got really bad COVID and then had terrible insomnia, would wake up every morning with headaches, with nausea, had very low stamina and terrible fatigue every day. And everything he tried to give him sleep relief so that he could at least get a good night's rest and at least sleep, nothing worked for him. And then the headaches and the nausea That's a real miserable experience to be in, where day in, day out, you've got headaches, nausea, and your body just feels like a truck ran it over, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. I told him, Barry, we got to get you started on the patches. And he said, yes, let's do it. Started him on the patches on the 23rd. He received his patches. He actually received the patches on the 23rd. I said, let's not wait till tomorrow morning, even though these are morning patches, day patches. We are going to apply them now, because you need to get a good night's rest tonight. And then we'll work with moving your patches so that you wear them in the day at a later time. So I said, if you don't mind reporting back to me, about this same time tomorrow, so that I can get a read on how well you slept and how your body's responding to the patches. So he did. So he reached out to me via a text message, and he sent me this particular text message that said, hey, Lillian, just a note, don't know if it's a placebo or the stem cell activation patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep, a little better sleep than other nights, and I fell asleep quicker. Today, I'm just on a high and ecstatic, and Gwen sees that in me, and I feel really, really good physically when I awoke this morning. No headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Bye. So needless to say, I was overjoyed, because I was able to share this life-saving technology with one of my friends who now got relief and is no longer plagued with this terrible circumstance that they'd been dragging along with for 18 months, that was not just affecting him, it's also affecting his wife and his son and his friends, his family, etc. So the next one is my friend Kathy McCarthy. And Kathy had been suffering with autoimmune disorder for 33 years from 3 breast implants. And she got started on the patches, and we told her, she really was super cynical, did not believe that she's like, this little sticker Band-Aid thingy is going to reverse my autoimmune disorder. I kind of find that hard to believe. We're like, just try it. And let's see, and let's take pictures now, and then every 30 days, take a picture so that you can document your progress. So she humored us, and she got started. One of my friends started her. And lo and behold, October, not of 2023, it was a year ago, 2022, she went ahead and she put these 4 pictures up without her profile picture on Facebook. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, oh, I got to share this with my friends on Facebook. Let me share this post. And as soon as I did that, I immediately called her up and I said, hey, I want you to come on. We did a Zoom, and I told her, I go, hey, just like this phone call Zoom that we're doing, I'd like to see if you would be willing for me to interview you, and you could share your whole story. And that way people could see your face, and they could see that, yeah, you really don't have any of those wrinkles on your chest, on your throat. And then they can also see that your face is also, that looks fantastic. And she said, well, I won't give you a profile picture, but I'll do no problem. I'll do the video interview, not a problem. And you can put it on Facebook. I don't care where you post it. That's fine. So we did the interview. If you want to go to DameLillianWalker.com, that URL puts you to my YouTube channel, or Love and Money Secrets TV, which is the name of the channel. You'll see this image, and you'll see that interview, and you see that she looks just like this photograph. Photograph is not touched up or photoshopped or anything. Because I had told her, I go, I'm going to share this, but people are going to share this also, and they're going to share it also. A friend of a friend is going to see this and go, if it were me, I'd say, oh, that's a Photoshop. That's got to be a bogus picture. Can't be real. And so she saw the video, and then she changed her mind. She's like, okay, I'm willing to provide a profile shot, which is fantastic, because you can see she looks just the same. In fact, I should pull up that video and share it with you guys. I'll share a little clip so that you can, we'll do that tomorrow I'll see if I can do that at the 2 o'clock. Next one, it's my before and after. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time here, because there's entire episodes, entire podcasts. I've had quite a few that have interviewed me, but I was hit by a bus. Yes, and lived to tell the story, and I didn't lose any limbs. Thank goodness. Wasn't paralyzed. Close, but luckily I wasn't paralyzed. But I was hit from behind, so it hit the back of my head, hit my butt. And the thing with this was that I suffered a traumatic brain injury. I suffered a neck injury, my C5, C6. I suffered a lower back injury. I had a laceration from my ankle to my knee. And I had all sorts of neurological conditions. I had all sorts of issues, lost 50% of my hair, had a bald spot the size of my palm on the lower left, and had this laundry list of things that were wrong with me. The irregular, your biochemistry gets completely out of whack. I had all these lesions on my chest, on my leg, around my lips. It was horrible. And then I lost 10 pounds that I couldn't afford to lose. So I was super skinny, had no boobs, no butt. It was just, my clothes were like really loose on me. It was a miserable time. And I lost 100% of my short-term memory. It's a very daunting and a very disturbing thing to confront and realize when you realize, oh my gosh, I have zero short-term memory. When you have zero short-term memory, it's not like you have a vague notion or you have any kind of an inkling or any kind of evidence of a short-term memory. No, it's zero, it's gone. Whatever happened 5 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, 6 hours ago, a day or two ago, it did not happen. It's like it doesn't exist in your experience. And so I have a greater empathy for the people that I deal with, many of them who have neurological conditions. I try to tell family members, you can't tell from the outside. They're not faking, not remembering this, that, or whatnot 5 minutes after you told them 15 minutes ago, 6 hours ago. The thing is now, I think Carol can attest that my short-term memory is pretty much intact. So all these things got resolved over the year. I saw results in the first 4 weeks. That was pretty impressive. Between the third and fourth week, my memory just big uptick. Within 4 months, I had 70% hair growth. And then as the year continued on that I wore the patches, I'm still wearing the patches. I saw all sorts of other changes. Sometimes slower, sometimes faster, sometimes all of a sudden something would change. So that was very exciting for me. And it continues to be to this day. So let's talk about the mother stem cell activation patch. X39. There were 39 iterations in the lab before this was brought to market in 2019. This activates your original smart cells by your own body's infrared light, which resets a third of your genes, regenerates your cells, restores collagen, rebuilds scarred tissue, reduces fine lines and wrinkles, increases energy, sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, and anti-inflammatories. If you have pain, it can provide you pain relief within 3 to 4 minutes of 50 to 100%, improved hair growth, and improved deeper sounder sleep. Who doesn't want those things for themselves? I don't know, but I can say I definitely did and continue to embrace that. Accept, receive, and embrace. So we have a Veritas Concilium, a true plan of action using traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points to actually magnify the effects of the patches on the body. So there are 2 spots. If you notice at the beginning of the presentation, I did show the graph and the image that showed conception vessel 6 and governing vessel 14. GV14 is here at the top at your neck bump, and conception vessel 6 is at the belly button. And so you can wear the 5 patches in a row just on the spinal column, depending on what you have going on. Sometimes we split them up and we put them in different parts of the body to affect a change more quickly in that spot of the body, because it's going to light that up first. The patches do work systemically, so it's going to take care of all the body, head to toe, but you're lighting up. Like if I had a spectrograph or if I had different types of devices, actually I could probably tell with my BioWell where you apply the patches, you're going to have an increase in energy because you have 33% of your previously dormant stem cells literally being lit up there, and then it spreads throughout your entire body. Okay. The next patch is your X49 patch, does something entirely different than the first patch, which was the mother. So we're going to make believe that this is the foundation of your home, the mother, and then the daughter is like the bearing wall to your home. This one protects you against radiation poisoning relief. It also increases your lean muscle mass, your bone density, your muscle mass and strength. It increases energy, focus, cardiovascular function, protects from EMF and 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation. We have no lack of things that we're getting radiation, and we're also getting blue light toxicity from LED lights, TSA scanners, X-ray machines from your dentist's office or other type of doctors, MRIs, CAT scans, PET scans. The list is endless. Not to mention, if you live close to a power plant in Southern California, we have San Onofre, about 100 miles south of me here. So for people that live in that neighborhood, they have more radiation exposure simply by where they live. People who live on the south side of Huntington, you're right there next to the Southern California Edison power plant. So, you know, you get a ton of EMFs from that. Don't get me started on that, because there's all sorts of stuff that go hand in hand that do affect your health. Anybody who watched, there is a film with Aaron Brockovich. I'm trying to remember the name of the film, but it talked about how environmental pollutants, how it can have a very detrimental effect on the human body. So this also reduces your belly fat because it's increasing your lean muscle mass and strength, increasing your bone density. This patch is actually designed to use the energy that you have stored as belly fat, to use that as an immediate supply of energy, as opposed to typically your body, when you're not wearing the patches, it's going to use the glucose from whatever your last meal was, because that's how it gets energy. That's how inside each cell you have a little organelle that's called mitochondria. That's what manufactures ATP, which is what produces energy for your body. Okay, so because it increases bone density, it's going to reduce your osteoporosis. So your bone density, in essence, disappears. So the next three patches are your Y-age system, and the Y-age system are glutathione, farnesene, and eon, in no short order. We're going to go over, and of course, I'm going to remind you to definitely drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water, because you don't want your proteins to be folded. That's the other thing. When you are not properly hydrated, the proteins in the body fold. When the proteins in the body fold, they don't work properly. It interrupts something called the Krebs cycle. You don't need to know what the Krebs cycle is. You can Google it if you're interested in learning more about that. But your proteins, when they're folded, they don't work properly, no better than I don't work very well. If I were to, I could not do this presentation if I was folded in half, bent at the knees where my head's touching my knees. If I'm folded in half, I wouldn't be able to do this Zoom. I would not be, most of the things that I need to get done would not get done. Going to the bathroom would be extremely challenging. Eating food upside down like that would be pretty much impossible. So, kind of gives you an idea about how important it is to keep properly hydrated. So the glutathione patch, these next three patches, they're called the Y-age system. They are bundled together. You can buy them individually. We like to buy them in a bundle because it brings the price down quite a bit. Glutathione is the master antioxidant. It is your master detoxifier. It's also your immune booster. Anything when it comes to your body and detoxification, whether it's detoxing you from environmentals, foods that you've eaten, foods that you've drunk, foods that you've, things that you've injected into your body, things that you've inhaled, absorbed through your skin, doesn't matter how you took it in. It's a toxin. This is going to detoxify you from that. Germs, viruses, and bacteria also produce toxins. It's going to get rid of that. You're going to get rid of the toxins through urination, defecation, and perspiration. Sweat, pee, and poop it out. This is going to boost your original glutathione levels by 300 to 600%. So just this patch alone will boost your natural glutathione levels 30%. But once you use this patch, it's going to open up your original playbook and say, okay, based on where you are today, we got to increase your glutathione levels 333% to get you back to what your original playbook says you should be at. Within 24 hours, so let's say you started this morning, today the 18th, you're activating your stem cells by applying these patches. You wear it from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. By tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., your glutathione levels, if we were to draw blood from you and test your glutathione levels, we would see that it's 333% higher. Could be as high as 600% higher. All depends on what your original blueprint shows. The glutathione patch also boosts your antivirals because, again, it's tied to your immune system. It's a radio protector against DNA damage. So important with all the EMFs and radiation that we get from, internet. You have modems, routers, all the electrical components and devices that we have around us. It improves your skin appearance. It helps promote relaxation and reduce stress. Very important for the brain function, very important for the nerves in the body, very important for very important for your nerves inside of your body. So it's a very important master antioxidant. Your brain signals your liver to produce glutathione, and then your liver delivers it through your bloodstream to every organ and every organ system of the body, and every muscle has glutathione in it. Okay, and there's certain diseases, there's certain conditions, there's certain diagnoses that people have, things like most of the neurological disorders like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, any of those Guillain-Barré, people typically have low glutathione or low or no glutathione. Multiple sclerosis, myasthenia gravis, the list is kind of endless of all. There's tons of conditions and diseases that don't even have a formal name. And so mystery diseases that involve your neurology, sometimes you lose feeling, or sometimes you have horrible pain in your hands and your feet and so forth, numbness in different parts of the body. So it's something to note that you can unring the bell of damage with these patches. All right, moving on. So the research paper shows here that with regards to glutathione, that the patches worn over 12 hours daily over a period of just 4 weeks produce a highly significant improvement in physiologic functional status of your pancreas. Listen up if you have an organ or a condition that's tied to any one of these organs. Pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, adrenals, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and a significant improvement in pancreas with a statistical power of 72%. So basically stated differently, all of the organs achieved cellular physiologic functional status improvement compared to a baseline with a statistical power of 91%. This is a direct quote from this research paper. Nanoscale glutathione patches improve organ function. Pretty cool. So the next patch is the carnosine patch. So carnosine, these 3 patches are named after the master antioxidants that they elevate, that they turn back on. Carnosine, the root word to carnosine is carne, which is flesh. This master antioxidant supports your cardiovascular system, all things that are related to heart and muscle. It improves healthy brain function. That's why I love this patch. Memory, focus, and brain processing speed. It increases your strength, your stamina, and endurance. Detoxes the brain from aluminum and aids in wound restoration. I got to tell you, this patch is phenomenal for the heart, phenomenal for the brain. One of my friends, Ron, he gained 23 pounds of lean muscle mass in the first year. He had 13 things that were wrong with him. One of the worst was he needed surgery in both of his wrists. And he could not work out anymore. His pain was so bad that when people went to, like little old ladies, he said, would reach out to shake his hand at church and it would bring him to his knees. And he started the patches when he was 64 years old. And in the first day, his hand pain was gone. And he just he just had somebody gave him a sample of X39. He put it right here. Even though he had pain in the wrist, he just instinctively put it, that happens to be an acupuncture point, right here. And his hand pain went away. And he's like, what are in those miracle patches? Long story short, all 13 things went away in the first year. And then he was able to, in a few months, to go back to the gym, start working out. And he gained 23 pounds of lean muscle mass, completely chiseled. And he's basically an Adonis now. He's in great shape. He's 68 years old. And I know 30-year-olds who envy the fitness level that he has now. Incredible. Okay, remember to drink the 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water if you want to treat your body well and feel as best as you possibly can. You don't have to do anything you don't want to, but if you want to optimize your body, you got to start with the water. You have to drink water while you're on these patches or the patches won't work, because as soon as your stem cells go to send a new cell to wherever it is that it sees that you have inflammation, which is a signal of damaged cells, it's going to hit quicksand. And then it can't get to where it needs to go because it's going to stick with all the other brand new cells that are being shot out the gate, and they all start just sticking to each other until you get hydrated. And and then they loosen up, and then they can go down the slippery slope to where they need to go. So Eon, this patch, we love this patch because this is the master anti-inflammatory patch, but this is also the anti-stress, the happy patch for anyone like me who had PTSD, who had anxiety, who had some negative looping thoughts, who just had issues from either a trauma, like I had pretty severe trauma to be hit by a bus while you're riding your bike and go flying in the air and land on the sidewalk, you know, a pile of bones and a mess, right? So this patch is your anti-stress happy patch. It legitimately, with the combination of the mother and the daughter stem cell activation patch, you legitimately feel energized, you feel happy, but you have no jitters. And this patch, as you see here, it raises your anti-neoplasms, which I'm going to tell you what that is in just a second. But it also increases the DHEA fountain of youth hormone. It also does brain balancing. So when I started on the patches, my brain was still out of balance. But as I wore the patches, my brain quickly became in balance. It'll happen sooner than you think. Your mental clarity, your focus, like things are sharper, clearer, brighter. And your recall, you'll recall things much faster with no effort. At first with little effort and then no effort. It's a nice thing to become aware of and go, oh my gosh, that's from the patches. So that brain balancing is very important. This one balances your left and your right brain hemisphere. We have a neurology patch. This also deals with digestive issues, hormones, your hypothalamus, which the back of your brain is where your hypothalamus is. That's where your short-term memory is. So I wore this patch also because I had that neurological issue of brain damage. Kind of a big deal, right? So this brain balancing that takes place with this patch is amazing. It gives you a calming effect because as your adrenals produce cortisol for you to respond with the fight or flight response to whatever pressure, to whatever trauma you've had. If you are in a high stress environment where you have a lot of demands, a lot of fixing things, a lot of time deadlines, a lot of pressure to do, guess what? This patch is going to reduce your cortisol. It's going to reduce your C-reactive protein, and you're going to feel calm, energized, very clear and awake, but calm. You feel centered. I'm going to have to pull out one of the testimonials I have from one of the gals just 1 week after her husband got started on the patches. His PTSD, anxiety, OCD, nervousness, congestion, all those things started to clear up in the first week of him being on the patches. And he started calling them his anti-pissy patches because while he was wearing the patches, he noticed that he wasn't pissy anymore. And his fidgetiness and all of his OCD symptoms started to disappear. Very exciting. So what are anti-neoplasms? So these are peptides that are found in the urine and blood of healthy people. And the research studies show that they might stimulate your immune system and that these peptides might also kill certain cancer cells or prevent them from proliferating and growing. In a clinical setting, these are used for various cancers, high cholesterol, brain swelling, and any kind of infection due to encephalitis, meningitis, HIV, AIDS, Parkinson's, and other conditions. In a clinical setting, it's called IVIG. However, once you get started on these patches, your original source of anti-neoplasms get turned back on, and you have this rapid repair that really is quite beneficial for you. Oh, by the way, did I mention that the blue LED lights that you have in your home environment, the screen that you're watching this broadcast from, whether it's a laptop, desktop, iPad, notepad, cell phone, whatever it is, those LED lights that are also present in your cars, in trains, in planes, your entire kitchen, your bathroom, stores out there, it's all LED lighting now. Very few places, if any. I have incandescent bulbs, which is why you see a little bit of a red hue on my skin, because I have 4 red lights and 2 clear, and they're all incandescent. They're not LED to offset. Now, on the patches, this is going to offset the damage that you have from blue lights, from blue light toxicity, which is from the LED lights, because blue lights destroy, LED lights destroy your DHEA fountain of youth hormone. it causes inflammation, and it causes insulin resistance. And Dr. Jack Kruse says it makes you fat. A lot of people get very overweight and they change their diet. They do paleo, they do keto, they do all sorts of different things. And in his case, he did keto and he gained 30 pounds. It wasn't until he changed his light environment. He's one of the premier, for the last 20 years, he's been one of the premier experts in the world with regards to photobiomodulation. He happens to be a brain surgeon, neck surgeon, spine surgeon. Look him up on YouTube if you want to learn more about him. So I'm going to end here, and I don't know if Carol might have any other questions, but I'm going to go into how much does this cost, because I keep saying that, you know, we obviously can't charge you $1 million for restoring your health, and traditional stem cell therapies, you know, cost 8,000 to 11,000. I just talked to a girl earlier today who went out of the country, went to Mexico for stem cells because she was in 2 car accidents, has terrible spinal injuries and a lot of trauma in her body. And this is, you know, a bargain at just $5 to $10 a day. For $5 a day, you can just start on the mother stem cell activation patch, the X39. For $11 a day, you can get the Fantastic 5. But for this, just this and this each are $149 a month for a 1-month supply. These are called sleeves. It's a special envelope to hold these patches. So that's $300 for these 2, but you can get started on the Fantastic 5 and the price will drop down to $99 each. When instead of going to the retail site, we'll just simply put you on a doctor wholesale pack. So you'll see the gold pack, that's $4.99. And because it's a doctor wholesale pack, there's no contracts, no agreements that you need to obligate yourself to. You can get on a monthly auto ship, a subscription, like a prescription, but you can start and stop it at any time, pause it. And then if most people, because we recommend that you be on the patches for at least 12 months, many people want to find out, okay, what's, you know, I want to get the lowest, if I'm going to be on these patches for the next 12 months, what's the lowest price possible? I go, well, a diamond pack here. Diamond pack, you're paying for 3 months of the Fantastic 5. That's 5 times 3 is 15. And they will give you 5 months of the Fantastic 5 on this diamond pack. Right now, they're giving extra patches. So instead of 19, a gal that I got her started earlier today, the one that I mentioned earlier, she got 29 sleeves. So she got almost 6 months of the Fantastic 5. So they give you almost $1,000 worth of free product when you do the diamond pack. And then after that, the 6th to the 12th month, it's just $329 a month. Or if you want to buy one of the bulk packages where you buy 3 or 6 months of patches at a time, you can do that. The other thing to note for folks is if you've already started on the patches, you can upgrade to a diamond pack at any time. It never expires. There's never any pressure. When you upgrade from a gold to a diamond pack, then since you've already gotten the gold pack, they simply take this $4.99 off of this amount. You pay the difference. So for $1,100, you basically, instead of getting 5 months, you get 4 months. So it's a great deal. You still save 40%. Pretty awesome. Okay, to learn more and to read our 90 clinical studies or to share them with your, healthcare practitioner, whoever your doctor might be, and to look at the 120 patents, you can go to startx39now.com. What else can I tell you? If you want the to get started text, you can always text that number. Make sure you get back to the person who referred you to this video and get back to them with their questions, get back to them with getting started. If there's somebody that's on my team, just let me know their name so that I can make sure that they get the proper credit in their account. And what else can I tell you? So this will just get you the questions that we need to fill out this form will be sent to you in a text format so that you can just reply back. Sometimes we have busy professionals, busy individuals. They don't have time to get on a Zoom like this, or even to make a phone call. And they're like, oh, I'm doing 24-hour shifts. Will you just text me what I need to give you so I can get started? And then they text back their information, and then we get them started in short order. To watch the replay of this, just go to damelillianwalker.com on YouTube. That will take you to that URL, will point to the YouTube channel. Here's an opportunity to have a little screenshot of the bullet points of just the mother activation patch. And I want to thank you for taking time today to watch this video. If you like what you see, just get back with me or the person who referred you to this video, and we'll answer whatever questions you might have. All right, my friends and gems, take care. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Carol, did you have any other questions, or are you good?
I'm good. You handled everything very well again. I keep listening and learning and looking through my AO information and putting it all together. It's pretty amazing what you're doing, and the help that you give us is wonderful. I feel like I can make the progress that I'm making because of you, really.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you for letting me know that. Yeah, that's a big report to go through. So I'm glad that you got scanned. So, oh, that's something I should mention for anyone who's getting started right now. If you're part of my team, then know that I'm doing the first 25 people a complimentary AO scan, which is a very comprehensive report that goes all the way down to DNA level. We scan you head to toe, and then we send you frequencies to bring whatever's still out of whack. It starts to get into alignment, and they're optimizing frequencies, and it's done in real time. And then you get a copy of the report, which there's 4 reports that Carol got, along with a couple MP3s that you can download from your computer or your cell phone, and then you can listen to those frequencies moving forward. That's it. Ciao for now, my friends and gems. Bye, Carol. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye. Thank you. See you tomorrow.